What's good, everybody? Victory and Vices podcast, episode 32. Me, Rory Spooner, James Vec back. Still a little bit ill, but we're getting there. I was hungover, Vecky was ill. That's why there was a delay right in the podcast. So if you're wondering why we're 4 or 5 days late, it's because we don't take care of our bodies and our immune systems, and we generally treat them like shit. But moving forward, guys, it's been an interesting week. We normally don't get to cover Champions League games.
It's a rare occasion.
And there's two United fans who generally cover football from a neutral perspective. Last night was tough to take.
Yeah, it was a bit of a reality check, wasn't it, really?
How many times have I come on this podcast over the past few weeks and said to you, United are going to get exposed by a bigger side? I have said 3 or 4 times now that would happen because United have their limitations. Oh, bro, they were fucking on show last night. Ashley Young, new contract. Tell me, what you think?
Well, that's bullshit, isn't it? It's absolute bullshit. It stinks of just... I don't know what to say about it because they gave Smalling a new contract, and I think Phil Jones had a new contract, and Ashley Young got a new contract.
Preach on.
And those are 3 players that we have highlighted so many times that are just not good enough to be there. Just period. They're just not good enough, and they need to be replaced ASAP. But the fact that they're offering them new contracts it's not sending out the right message to me at all.
When you reward mediocrity, you're going to continue and get mediocrity.
Yeah,
that's what happens, right? It's just a cycle, and that's what's happening with United right now. Basically, right, if you give Ashley Young a contract and you say to him, you're going to be our main right back next year, I'm fully expecting United to win fuck all.
Yeah.
Fuck all.
You've got to deal with that,
absolutely nothing. Bear in mind now, I've said this before, Phil Jones and Chris Smalling, neither are good enough for Manchester United. Everybody knows that. But if you're going to give one a contract and say you're going to be my 4th choice centre half, then you're going to have Bailly and Lindelof fighting for 2nd and 3rd, and then you have like a Koulibaly or Skriniar as the main guy, right, that you build a defence around. Don't give them all new contracts. I'm pretty sure Marcus Rojo had a new contract a while back as well. I might be wrong.
I'm not sure,
have to fact check that.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Let us know, people, if that is the case or not. But you've essentially got 3 defenders there. Then let's say, for example, in Rojo, Jones, and Smalling, all of whom are on, let's say, minimum 150k a week.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to shift them. No one's going to come in and go, I'm going to give Chris Smalling 150k a week, because nobody is fucking stupid enough to do it. That's why Solskjaer looked at Fellaini and went, you're on how much? 150k a week. You're going to China. Fuck, buy. I don't know what the Chinese for buy is, but fuck it, he said, you're not staying.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous, and United were exposed so badly, and we have to give PSG credit as well, because their strength in depth, right? Me and Becky have talked privately before about Marco Verratti. Bro, on one leg, he was just fucking outstanding. Yeah. Oh my God, the guy's a beast.
It didn't seem like he was going to play, did it? But because Thomas Tuchel said that, he was 50-50, and if he plays, he might only get an hour. But I think he played, was it most of the game?
He played the best part of the game.
Played the best part of the game, but Reece said to me, the United's defence were exposed by PSG's 2nd string front line. 2nd string implies that it's below par. That 2nd string, it's just another quality front line. You got Di Maria.
Di Maria was fired up as
Dani Alves. So much Champions League experience I had as well, right? Still so much pace, creativity, experience, everything. Okay, so yes, they're not Neymar and they're not Cavani, but I did read somewhere interestingly that PSG without Neymar are just as effective, and I'm sure they've won and they have a better win percentage
without Neymar
in certain competitions, because when he plays, it's all about Neymar, and he's doing a lot of tricks he's a lot of the ball. But when they play, I think it's Mbappe, Cavani, maybe Di Maria, for example, they just seem to flow a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, Neymar, has many a game where he has moments of brilliance and he can win something himself. But people are saying that Neymar was a massive miss. On one hand, I would agree, but the stats will tell you that he actually isn't to them, because they do just as well without him. So, like you say, strength and depth them is massive. But United were exposed. We've only got 1, maybe 2 decent defenders. You've got Lindelof, which we know has been very good, and Shaw, which
I thought Shaw did okay. He didn't do bad. Dani Alves was superb though, bro. Yeah. How old is he now? Like 34, maybe.
34, 35.
You look at him and Ashley Young. They're about the same age. And one is an absolute world-class right back still, and the other one is just a makeshift winger.
Yeah.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
True. One thing I will say for United, though, and I'm not saying it, would have had that much of an effect on the game, but I do think the 2 injuries were massive.
Yeah, look, that played a part. We have to acknowledge that.
Up to that point, the first half especially, United pressed PSG really high. They had pace. Lingard, Rashford and Martial pressed really high. PSG didn't get a look in, they hardly got the ball. Mbappe didn't get a touch. And although United, the only thing that was missing was that they didn't actually go on to create very much at the end of it. The final third, they were disappointing, but they had a lot of the ball. And PSG they couldn't get a foot in the game. And when Martial and Lingard both got injured, they brought Mata on, who, technically very good, very slow, though slowed the game down. Sanchez, we know it, he's nowhere near what he used to be.
United look like they've signed Sanchez's twin brother. Because, bro, he has just got cement in his boots. He's got lead in his feet.
Not the same player.
I don't remember him being that slow at Arsenal. Maybe it's just me. And again, Arsenal fans out there can let us know. I don't know what's wrong with him. I just don't know what's wrong with him.
He's just a different sort of conundrum altogether at the moment. And he's one that when United play it, they have done in the Premier League, that we don't seem to need to worry about that much at times. But then last night, when you needed the Sanchez of old, and we got nothing near it. But like I say, the second half, Reece pointed out that the away team in the Champions League at their quality will always come and maybe try to play a bit more the second half, going half-time 0-0. But I definitely thought the 2 subs really slowed the pace down. They couldn't press like they were, because United's pressing in the first half was kind of covering up their defensive deficiencies. And I thought, well, if you attack us, defensive, we might not be able to stand up to it. So we'll press you so that you struggle to get the ball. Which is, I thought that was quite a smart way to play. But then as soon as that option was taken away, they were just picked off so easy.
We have to salute King Killian as well. As a young man, because he's a young man, I just think he's incredible. He shows so much maturity for his age. A younger man leading the line in that PSG attack would not be able to hold the pressure on their shoulders the way he did last night. He carried them forward. His goal was superb. I think he had another chance which he should have scored against De Gea, which again was he was unlucky in fairness. I think he tried to chip him. But Mbappe as well, I think he donated money to the Salah cause.
Yes, it was 27,000, isn't it?
I think it was 27,000 for Salah and roughly around the same for the pilot for the search. That just shows you how level-headed that young man is.
Yeah.
He's just fucking incredible, man. And last night it was like, it's hard to make the comparison, right? And a lot of people might be like, nah, I don't agree, but I saw flashes of R9 last night. The Ronaldo, the original Brazilian Ronaldo, the movement, the pace. I think when he runs, he's rapid.
It's so quick.
It's not just pace. Like Theo Walcott. People who watch Premier League football will know. Theo Walcott is pace, but that's it. There's no technique.
Yeah.
With Mbappe, it's movement, technique. There's a purpose to it. Yeah. He is incredible, bro. United can't stop him. They can't.
Yeah, I felt like the goal that he scored, his late run into the box, the way that he attacked that, because he was just sort of jogging, and then you watch the replay back, and he just picks up out of nowhere. And Bailly, up until the last minute, looks like he's in a decent position,
but just can't get near him.
And that's not bad defending for me. That's just an unbelievable player. To a
I'll be
certain
honest
degree.
with you. I'm not a massive Bailly fan, right? So when I saw that, I was kind of like, what the fuck's Bailly doing? But
you watch it again.
Maybe he should have been more alert, right? Because let's say now we'll call devil's advocate, but if that was Thiago Silva, do you think Mbappe would have got past?
I don't know. I still think he would.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have my doubts. I just think
we'll never know. Obviously,
I think a lack of experience in that United side in general cost them. You look at the way that PSG played the game. PSG were going down very easily, apart from the Ashley Young shoulder charge, which, by the way, was fucking insane.
Brutal.
It was absolutely brutal. But Di Maria had that coming, in fairness.
Yeah.
And Di Maria, in fairness, got his own back big style as well. But yeah, the way PSG controlled the game, the way they went down when they needed to, the way they surrounded the ref when they needed to.
So much experience.
Pick up the pace, slow it down, pick up the pace, slow it down, pick you apart at the right moment. All experience.
It's Champions League experience. Buffon, Dani Alves, Thiago Silva, Di Maria, even players like Verratti. This, I'm sure it said something in the game last night. It was between Buffon, Dani Alves, and Di Maria. There's like 300 or 400 Champions League games between them. You look at United side, it's nowhere near that. It's polar opposite. But I will say the first goal, Kimpembe scored the first one, didn't he?
And Kimpembe shouldn't have been on the pitch. No, we'll agree with that. Yeah.
So, I'm certainly not going to make excuses and say that if so-and-so wasn't on the pitch or if so-and-so hadn't got injured, then United would have won the tie, because they didn't create. I think they had one shot on target, and sometimes with United, when even when I do defend them, I can say, they did have that chance if they'd have taken that chance or whatever. They didn't have those chances.
Yeah.
So, had they had 10 men, 11 men, if so-and-so hadn't got injured, it didn't look like they weren't in the mood. They weren't with it, and it didn't.
You said United were flat. I'd agree with that. They were flatter than some double A titties. They were. Let me tell you, they were fucking terrible.
100%. And there's enough. I don't care if it's PSG, if it's Fulham, if it's Burnley, if it's Barcelona. When Rashford, Martial, Pogba, Lingard, etc., when they're on the pitch, 9 times out of 10, whoever it is, they will create chances against them. Whether it be one or two, they will. 9 times out of 10, they'll create chances because of how much ability they have.
Yeah.
They might not win the game, but they will create chances. And last night, that was just completely missing altogether. So I'm not making too many excuses. They were the better side, PSG.
Yeah.
They've given us an absolute mountain to climb. If 2-0 wasn't difficult enough, talk about Pogba missing the game as well.
I thought it was Ashley Young that was getting sent off.
Yeah, it was initially, wasn't it?
I don't know what the hell the referee had a poor game, and I know a lot of football fans will use that as an excuse, and it's very easy to blame the referee. But I mean, if Pogba goes, Kimpembe has to go as well, right?
So it was 2 fouls I think he made, and he just waved them both away. And again, I reiterate, I'm not saying that that United definitely would have got anything out of this game, but all I'm saying is that there's little moments in many football matches which define games and mean that they might have been different. But it is what it is, and we move on. It's a big task now, but it's not impossible.
I would go as far as to say it's an impossible task.
It's not impossible. It really isn't impossible. It's extremely difficult and very unlikely.
Do you reckon?
Well, yeah, PSG, aren't the greatest team of all time. United, they could get an early goal, and then all of a sudden, be on the front foot, and they could,
My one issue with that, right, and this is something we brought up at the start of the season, and when Pogba was sort of having his Barcelona moment where they were coming in for him.
Yeah.
Part of me wanted him to go. Part of me was like, United really need him, and United really need him because there is nobody who can link midfield and attack without him.
Yeah.
Herrera does a good box-to-box job, right? So he'll go box-to-box, he gives you energy, not a lot of technique, he's okay against the smaller sides, but again, got exposed. Matic did okay, but I mean, realistically, could United get a better defensive midfielder? Potentially, someone who controls the game a bit more. We never know, we've said this, but... Yeah. With no Pogba, it becomes mission impossible because there is no one to link the defence. There's no one to link there's no one to link play anywhere really. Essentially, I mean, you got Fred who will come in, but and Fred has not been playing under Solskjaer, so he won't have any minutes under his belt.
Yeah.
You've got
McTominay.
McTominay isn't going to do it. Pereira could do it, but he's not of that quality yet. So. It is mission impossible. And I said, look, United without Pogba are going to struggle this season because there isn't anybody who can replace him.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
Look, I said, I watched the game with my brother, and before the sending off, I said, Chris, we have a huge mountain to climb here, and I don't think we're going to do it. And when Pogba got sent off, it just put the cherry on top of that. I absolutely don't think they will do it. They need to have... They need to play the best that they've played all season without the best player, which you wouldn't if you're a betting man. We speak about don't bet on, or we try to give you the odd tips here and there on the channel. Sometimes.
I don't give you any tips because I don't bet anymore.
Take it from me. Don't bet on United to win this, because at the end of the odds will be pretty high. But just don't bother. Just don't waste your money because you're probably going to lose it. But football is football, and you look at. And I know they're different sides, but we've seen much crazier deficits and stuff.
We have, over. But I have a degree of realism about this. Yeah. Unless PSG gets struck by a flu bug that struck you, right? They're not going to fucking win.
We'll win then, definitely.
Yeah,
terrible man flu.
Yeah.
No, it is almost mission impossible, and like you said, I'm just going to be realistic about it so it's probably not going to happen. Of course I'm going to watch it, and we'll see.
Yeah, for a neutral, it'll be a cracking game because United have to come out and play, and then PSG can hit them on the counter with Mbappe, and probably Cavani might be back as well. They were saying Neymar might be back for the second leg.
I view he's definitely up for both, but
not that he'd need to come back anyway.
Yeah, I mean, bring it on. It can't get much worse.
Yeah.
Massive mountain to climb, but we'll see.
All right. Well, yeah. Speaking of mountains to climb, United's next game is against Chelsea. And oh boy, is that going tits up. I was looking forward to discussing this Monday, but I was so fucking hungover and Becky was so ill that we couldn't even form sentences. But now we're here, let's try and articulate what the fuck is going on at Stamford Bridge, because Sarri ball we might be seeing the death of it. We said, give or take, it might be around March time if Chelsea are sort of not in the run-in for anything that Sarri goes. That might be brought forward a little bit because those players down tools, big style.
Huge, yeah.
Big style.
I said, what was it, 2, maybe 3 episodes back, I made a call. I said to you on the episode that I think Sarri could lose his job. Mm-hmm. And at the time, you had a bit of a reaction. You went, really?
I thought they'd have more about them, but these Chelsea players, they've shown previously, when it comes to the crunch, they don't give a fuck. They're not interested.
And I think him getting through to the final of the Carabao Cup bought him a little something extra, because I said that if they get knocked out against Spurs, because they were 1 down at the time after the first leg, obviously they fall out of the top 4. I think they're actually 6th now on goal difference.
They are actually. Yeah, no, I remember. I saw, I can't remember who was tweeting about it, but did you see the tweet the guy had where Chelsea have lost 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0?
Yes,
oh, Jesus. The guy, he's a guy you want. If you want to bet, that's 7. The guy you want to go and see, let me tell
7. Who they got next in the league?
They got United next, haven't they? You never know.
I just don't know what to say about them because they're 6th in the league. Yes, the Carabao Cup win, getting them to the final, give him something. But if they get knocked out to United, because it's in the Emirates, it's in the Stamford Bridge, isn't it? So that's another cup. I think he could go. I think if United beat them, which they could do, because Chelsea...
If United beat them convincingly.
Because Chelsea are, you would say, in a much worse place than United at the moment.
Do you know, Chelsea's home record isn't bad, though. It's their away form that's piss. And I would be typical United to go and face Chelsea, and Chelsea play like fucking the Barcelonas of 2008.
It could definitely happen, but United beating Chelsea is much more. I'm more promise. I got more promise about United beating Chelsea than I did about PSG.
I would say so. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So I think Sarri could go after that. If they don't win, I think they could go because after that, what's left?
They got Malmo.
They're
still in as long as they're in the Europa League, they have a lifeline.
Yeah.
But look, he's on very thin ice, isn't he?
Yeah, and do you know what? Like you say, it's not the fact that they're losing the games; it's the way that they're losing the games. Bro. Because you take the Huddersfield game out, because you can pretty much remove that because if I'm Abramovich, I'm not counting that.
No one does in fairness.
2 games, 4-0 to Bournemouth, 6th against Man City. That's 10 goals they've conceded in 2 games. That's 10 goals in 2 games.
10 unanswered
fucking goals.
10 unanswered goals.
That's obscene.
That's a
for Chelsea.
That's a bum in each time.
And someone tweeted the other day that, and at the time I thought, really, and I looked at it and thought, oh yeah, they kind of are. The most successful team in England in the last decade is Chelsea.
Yeah.
I had to check that, and I was like, no, because they won the Champions League, and it was like,
bro, look, I know people talk about Chelsea's history and how Chelsea were only really formed in 10 years ago, but all right, we'll all be the first. We'll put our hands up and say, look, Chelsea before Abramovich weren't really doing anything. They had they were like the Everton when they had a few bits and pieces here and there, right? But since he took over, you have to acknowledge the fact that they've been sensational at some
of course,
times.
yeah.
Like a lot of people now who maybe are a little bit younger might not know or might not remember the first Jose Mourinho side at that, bro. Yeah, they were fucking machines. Like, you had Carvalho and Terry at the back, right? And you had a young Petr Cech who was just hungry and he fucking saved everything. And you had
Ashley Cole
at left back, like the best left back probably we've seen of our generation. Ashley Cole, insane. And then you had Lampard who scored goals for fun, and Makalele and Essien, and Ballack was there. And then you had Drogba. He was a fucking powerhouse.
Oh, they had Joe Cole, he was good.
Young Joe Cole. Yeah. Oh, and young Robin. Yeah. Oh man, come on! Like that Chelsea side puts that Chelsea side, or this current Chelsea side, to shame. Like
Absolutely,
to fucking shame. Like with all due respect, Marcus Alonso, he'll never be Ashley Cole. No. Never. And we've tried to big up Ross Barkley as well, right? What's Ross Barkley doing heading the ball to Aguero? Like trying to get an assist. Like Ross, come on, bro. Like seriously. You're getting paid a lot of money, and that's a fucking... I've seen guys in 5-a-side who don't do that.
We didn't do that in 6-a-side.
I might have done it once, but I'm not getting paid a shitload to do it. No. But it bewilders me how fucking poor they were.
Yeah.
And Sarri's, obviously, he's got his son in midfield, Jorginho, and Daddy always plays his son. It's getting to the stage now where Chelsea players must really dislike Jorginho. Yeah. They must be thinking, N'Golo in training, leave one on him, make sure he's out. Because they can't continue. They can't continue. I've said to you before, David Luiz in a two-man defence, it doesn't work because he will get exposed. Like if you're going to play him, you've got to play him in either play him in a midfield three as a defensive midfielder if Kante isn't there, or play him in a back three with two proper defenders alongside him. Bro, Chelsea are fucking pissing away this season, and it's just stupidity, stubbornness as well, I would say.
Yeah, and you touched upon, maybe younger fans who don't remember the Chelsea before the Abramovich era. Now, we all know that, they came to the top of the game through, large investment from Abramovich.
Oil money, I believe it's looking for.
Yeah, and you can say what you want, you can have an opinion on that, but the fact is that they became a big club. Yeah, no, a big team, yeah. So,
I say their recent history allows them to call them a big club.
Yeah,
their recent history.
And they are the most successful club, in terms of trophy haul in the last decade. Mm-hmm. So, you can't ignore that they have to fall into that big club category. And there's a big case to say they're the biggest club in London. Arsenal would argue with that, and we won't go too much into that. But
it's debatable.
But it is debatable.
Debatable.
It's definitely not Spurs. Sorry. But we know that. But the manner of the defeats, and we mentioned a couple of episodes back about the things that Sarri was saying.
Yeah.
He keeps going on about how the players aren't motivated, or he can't motivate them. And I said to you recently, you're saying the wrong things. You don't say that. You might say it behind the scenes, or you might be thinking that. You don't say those things because they don't go down well. And the players almost seem like they're responding to his negative comments because they don't look motivated. They don't look like they really
don't
care.
Mind. They don't give a fuck.
They don't look like they give a shit. You got Hazard. Reece made a point that he essentially plays for the manager when he wants to play for the manager.
I would agree with that now, actually. Yeah. Even though Hazard has had a pretty decent season in terms of his return.
In spells.
His stats back up, he's done okay, as you say, in spells. But they've all down tools. There's like a core of that Chelsea side that I don't want to question anybody. Again, I don't like questioning professionalism of anybody, right? But you look at David Luiz, you look at Azpilicueta, you look at Willian, you look at Hazard. Like Willian had his issues with Conte as well, remember? Yeah. So those lads that have been there a while, they've consistently down tools. Whether it's Mourinho, Conte, Sarri, at some point they've all just gone, well, we hold all the aces, we're the guys with the power. What are you going to do about it? You can't sack us all.
100%, yeah. No. And the thing is that with Chelsea, what they'll do is they'll either sack him now mid-season, imminently in the next sort of few weeks, or he'll leave at the end of the season, because I've told you before, Abramovich doesn't keep managers next season if they don't win a trophy.
Yeah.
And they'll get another decent European manager in, and they go in cycles, and he'll probably come in and win the FA Cup or win the league or something. That's what Chelsea do. I saw an interesting stat about Chelsea's mid-season sackings, and that more often than not, when they sack someone mid-season, the manager that comes in tends to lift them or win a trophy. I think Di Matteo came in mid-season.
Did Benitez come in mid-season?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Di Matteo came in mid-season, won the Champions League.
Yeah.
And won, I think it was the FA Cup. Benitez came in, won the Europa League, got them, I think it was top 4.
Yeah.
I think either Scolari or Hiddink come in. I think
they've been through some managers, man, haven't they? When you think about it.
Yeah.
especially over the past decade. But that's what I mean about top level football. It is ruthless as fuck. Yeah. There's no friends in business. There is no friends. Abramovich, that's why he is where he is. You just don't do the job. Okay, cool. I'll pay you off. I'll get someone else.
So Sarri really needs to be really careful. And you touched on him, how stubborn he's being. We've said it in the past.
It's a terrible trait in a person, man. Especially when you're in a team sport. Like, it has to be about the team. It has to be about the team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I watched, right? It's interesting you say that. I watched, a lot of people probably don't watch it, but I watch it out of curiosity. The Super Bowl. Okay, I watched the Patriots, and I was watching sort of a program on them. And the guy who scored the winning touchdown, Rob Gronkowski, I think his name is. Okay. Fucking tank of a guy, right? He's like, the Patriots are the most successful franchise in the NFL. And they are team. Everything's about the team.
Yeah.
Everything. Tom Brady, right? This is interesting as fuck, right? It's slightly other football off topic, but Tom Brady took a lower paid contract so they could use the money to invest in the team. Did you know that?
No.
That's fucking to me, when I see the Chelsea situation and I see that, I'm like, that's mental.
That wouldn't happen.
That wouldn't happen. No, and Gronkowski was saying that even during their off season, they have a WhatsApp group. They all WhatsApp each other like, "You training today? Why aren't you training today? What have you eaten today? What are you doing today?" It's all about the team because everybody carries everyone, and a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Mm-hmm. And Gronkowski was saying, "I'm checking in on all my teammates to make sure you're doing your job, so we can all go and get another trophy at the next season." And Brady give up like fucking 10 million, bro, just so they could reinvest that in the team and sign other players. And when you look at what Chelsea are doing, it's the epitome of selfishness. Because those boys could all come together and go, all right, you know what? Yeah, we don't necessarily agree with everything, but let's try and make it work.
Yeah, for the big picture.
Not happening. But I found that incredible, bro.
It's amazing.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and you've seen what's happened as a result of that. Is, like I said, they're the most successful NFL franchise.
Yeah, the most successful NFL franchise ever.
And I'm not big into my NFL, but I see bits and I saw highlights, and I know he's won X amount of Super Bowls now.
I think he's been to 9 and won 6. So that shows that, and the NFL is slightly different to our football in the sense that the weakest teams get the best players each season. It's not like Chelsea going out and buying Kante.
Which is good, I think. Yeah.
Really but that's what I mean. When it comes to team sports, you have to put that selfishness to one side, whether you're the manager or player, and go, okay, how are we going to make this work for all of us? And those Chelsea players, and Sarri to a degree, they don't really give a fuck, bro.
I have no doubt that if tomorrow or by the next game, Sarri said, you know what, I'm going to put Kante back where he belongs, would Jorginho fit in or do a job in Kante's position? I don't know.
I don't think he would. I think he's got the pace.
If they put Kante, where he's supposed to be, where we all know he should be, played someone else in where Kante's playing now.
I'm going to throw a name out: Loftus-Cheek.
Why not? And then, he steps away from his style, his 4-3-3 formation, and plays a formation that actually suits, how that team should be set up. Then I know they'll do so much better.
Kante can do the job of 3 men, though, as well.
You know that.
Yeah.
Every pundit on Sky Sports and BT seems to know that. Everyone on Match of the Day seems to know that. Sarri, does he know it? I don't know. Maybe he does, but he just won't admit it.
That's just stubbornness, bro.
But it's going to lose him his job.
Yeah, but you know what? His Napoli team, they played some of the best football that Europe has seen at some point, because they were that good. Even Guardiola turned around and said, these guys are incredible. Yeah. And they were really that good. But everyone was on the same wavelength, and he's just come into Chelsea, which is not, I wouldn't call him an unstable club, but it's not known for being the most
and
stable.
Also that's an easier league, no disrespect, to be able to play the
again, it's a much slower league, so you're not every single week getting gassed.
Don't get me wrong, right? They're a decent level of teams in Italy. It's not as bad as like the French league.
Well, we say that, right? But PSG are thriving.
Yeah, but that's, they're on their own. They're what, 12, 13, 15 points clear. I said this the other week with maybe 2 or 3 games in hand. So the actual strength of the league is not up to scratch. But you look at the Serie A, and you've got Juve aside, you've got Napoli, you've got Inter Milan, AC Milan, Roma, you've got Udinese, Lazio,
Sassuolo,
Sampdoria,
and Parma back as well now.
Yeah, they're back as well. Anyway, it's a good level, but they're not coming up against the type of challenges, Sarri, that he's
do you know
getting
what, do you know what it is?
Different
Sorry
styles.
to cut you off, bro. With Serie A, I think the clubs are... They're big clubs in the sense that historically they're big.
Yeah.
It's just they're not at that playing level right now.
And, Sarri wouldn't have faced a Burnley in
I don't
Serie A.
know. I don't know what Sassuolo tactically.
Yeah, but it's like their players are still quite technical. They still try and play a better brand of football. They're not coming up against Stoke on in there now, but they're not coming up against Stokes and Burnleys and Brightons and the teams in Serie A and in La Liga. They don't try and play long ball football or lump it up and play percentages
it's short, tiki-taka.
and try and play against Sam Vokes and Peter Crouch and target men. They don't tend to play that way.
They play essentially how Verratti played last night, which is just silky smooth.
Yeah, and the problem is when teams try to play that way against Napoli's and Juve's, they have better players who can do that better. So they just dominate. And I think he's coming up against something that he doesn't quite know how to work around.
Yeah.
And it will ultimately be his downfall.
I couldn't agree more. We'll just touch upon City very quickly. Yeah. Great win. Great to see Raheem Sterling shove it in the fucking face of all those racist Chelsea fans that decided to abuse him. Raheem Sterling, there's something about him which is just so endearing. I just got so much time for him. I just think he's such a fucking great guy. And I think he gets the most unnecessary amount of stick.
Yeah, massively.
The most unnecessary amount of stick.
I take my opinion of City and put that completely one side as a United fan. My respect for him seems to grow by the season.
Hugely, bro. Yeah. All the time. He's only, 23, 24 now? Yeah. And Joe Cole was saying that he could go on to be one of the Premier League's best ever players. Like, he has serious potential with that City side. If that sort of core of that City side stays together, along with Guardiola, bro, he could be winning fucking everything over the next 2 seasons. Absolutely everything.
He's got the potential to do it all, and he scored a very respectable tally of goals so far in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Gets plenty of assists. He's a regular, and you look at that City side as well. For him to be getting as much attention and getting the goals and assists that he is in amongst, you've got the competition of Aguero, Jesus, Sane, Sterling, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, all that competing for that front three position. And the fact that he's getting the nod more often than not is testament to him as well.
It
is,
yeah.
Shout out to Raheem.
Yeah, I like Raheem. I got a lot of time for him. I think he gets such an awful time off some people. Yeah. And we won't necessarily get into a race debate tonight, mostly because we don't have time. But we know what it boils down to. It's a young black man being successful,
of course,
and that leaves a lot of people uncomfortable. But enough about Raheem Sterling. Quick mention of Sergio Aguero.
Just about to say.
He's a gunman. I said this in a previous podcast. If you ever wanted to murder someone, you would hire Aguero to shoot them, because he doesn't miss. Aguero doesn't fucking miss.
And if he'd been hit by that ball for his first goal, he probably would have died.
Obviously, we will ignore the tap and he missed, right? Because we're all allowed one. But fuck me, some player. He is. He's a gunman.
That's 11 hat tricks now in the Premier League, so he's equal Shearer.
Back-to-back hat tricks.
Back-to-back hat tricks. He's joint top goal scorer now, and I wouldn't bet against him to win the Golden Boot on the form that he's in.
If he stays fit, then I may have to revise my Liverpool prediction for the title. But is he
they're putting pressure on them because they've got a +10 goal difference now as well, which could be massive, because you look at that season where United and City came right down to the wire, and if it wasn't for the late Aguero strike, don't like speaking about it, but for the purpose of this example, if it wasn't for that late Aguero strike, then it would have come down potentially to goal difference. So
facts.
At that point where City would have won it. And if Liverpool just so happen to lose a game now, it becomes level on points, and they're -10 on them on the goal difference. So and Liverpool score goals. They score a lot of goals, but City are just pumping teams right now. So
they are.
And Chelsea of all teams to stick six past. So Aguero is incredible. We've known this for a while, but he seems to just keep reminding us. I can't remember who said it. Was it Carragher? Was it someone else? Made a big statement and said that he was a better or more talented striker than Thierry Henry.
Ooh, I didn't hear that. That's a bold statement.
And I was like, I don't know.
But you know what,
that.
though, in terms of goal scoring records, put some respect in his name, bro. Aguero's up there.
He's up there.
He's up there. I don't think he has the ability to assist like an Henry. But then, I mean, look, his
there's similarities,
to a degree, yeah.
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree.
I'm trying to see how many goals he's on now all time. I'll get that up now.
Yeah,
but
cool.
if he does stay, Aguero, for maybe another 2 or 3 seasons.
I think all he's got left is 2 seasons before he goes back to Argentina. From what I remember
reading.
Well, he said he wants to go back and play while he's still at a relatively decent level.
Sometimes people, they chase targets, you're looking at, I'm trying to look at all-time stats now.
We'll have a look. I'll tell you what, we'll go to a quick PSA,
yeah.
And you can add us up on the relevant social media platforms. Make sure you do. Again, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget, hit the notification bell too. If you hit that bell, as soon as I upload a video, it'll go directly to your device. So, yeah, we'll be RB after this PSA, and we'll talk about Liverpool and Aguero in a bit more depth. All right, we're back.
I thought you've done this before.
Yeah, we might have to edit a little bit. All right, we're back. Hey, all right, yeah. So, in terms of the Champions League fixtures, we're just looking at them tonight. I fucking can't believe I just fucked that up. We're looking at the fixtures, and Spurs are 1-0 up. Son, incredibly crucial to Spurs lately, and the Asia Cup. Spurs are thanking fucking who won it? Qatar.
Yes, Qatar.
Spurs are thanking Qatar all year long for him, because the most underrated player, I was going to say in the Premier League, but I'm going to say in the world, is just absolutely playing out of his skin.
I think with Kane being absent now and him doing his thing, I think people are starting to notice, because there's talks of him now being nominated or potentially winning the PFA Player of the Year.
Those small Asian shoulders are carrying Spurs.
100%. So I think he's starting to get a bit more recognition for his services, and rightly so. Where would they be without him? They certainly wouldn't win the last couple of games.
Can you see him leaving, or do you think he's sort of... No, I don't want to say Tottenham through and through, right, because that's the wrong sentence, but do you think he's loyal to Spurs?
Do you know, it's a weird... Like, I don't know what it is. I just don't think he's the type to just up and leave or make a bit of a fuss. I don't know.
Do you think he's so low key?
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying, because obviously Asian players don't tend to get that much of.
They're very the Asian players
in
almost,
their culture or something.
I was about to say the same thing actually. Yeah, the Asian culture in general, they don't really kick up too much of a fuss. It's very polite, very courteous.
Could probably done an equally as good a job for another top European club in midfield.
Yeah, facts.
I know United were doing very well at the time, but there was never even links.
Very humble.
Very
humble.
They go under the radar. They don't make any noise. They just do their thing, and I just don't think there's any threat of him going anywhere really.
And you know what, as well, there are some top quality players. Yeah. Some top quality players. Yeah, shout out to Asia and to everyone in Asia that listens to us as well, because there is a few people. So Spurs 1-0 up. We have Madrid 1-0 up. Benzi.
Karim, rising to the
Benzi
top.
loves the bitches. If you've ever seen that Instagram post of Benzema with Axel Witzel's ex-girlfriend, I'll show you later. It's fucking class. Basically, Benzi loves the bitches. He loves the bitches, bro.
Maybe a bit too much.
No, you can. Benzi now. Benzi does alright. But we won't digress.
Him and Memphis should get together and make a record.
Oh, can you imagine Memphis and Benzi? Oh, mate, they would be fucking running through everything. There wouldn't be much left in.
Just a trail.
Oceanas everywhere would be empty. They would be fucking running through them all.
Just a wreckage.
Oh, like a wrecking ball. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to the Premier League fixtures. Let's say we'll cover a few bits and pieces. Liverpool, Bournemouth. Fully expected a Liverpool win. Didn't anticipate anything but, given the fact that we predicted Bournemouth and their away form was so shoddy that it would just continue, and it did.
At home, they're a different animal. They can turn anyone over. Away from home, they're just not known for their results away from home.
Yeah,
it just doesn't tend to happen. So it was 4-0 in the end. It was quite a routine.
It was incredibly routine, in fairness.
Routine win in the end.
Incredibly routine.
Or 3-0. Sorry, my mistake.
Yeah, 3-0. Yeah.
But Liverpool, they did what they had to do. Come under a little bit of pressure, with City now.
Yeah, it's not easy with City breathing down their neck. And I thought they acquitted themselves quite well. Even though I didn't expect Liverpool to struggle in any way, I fully expected them to get the win as well at the same point, if that makes sense. So,
I agree.
Look, I mean, as I said, Liverpool's destiny is in their own hands. As long as they keep winning, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, and you look at some stats of them as well. I'm just reading. Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 34 Premier League home games, winning 24 and drawing 10. You look as well, Bournemouth have lost each of their last 8 away Premier League games, conceding at least 2 goals each time. So it's no news that that they didn't ever seem like they were going to win that game, and the stats certainly showed it as well. But Liverpool, they had a little bit of a wobble. Like they drew with Leicester, they drew with West Ham.
Yeah.
Bournemouth, like I just said with the stat there, you didn't expect them to give Liverpool too much trouble, but they got the W, they got the 3 points. It temporarily put them back at the top. Obviously, City have done their thing now, and they've got I've got to respond to that now. So my cough's just randomly appearing in that.
I'm fucking buying you some type of vitamin C or something, because this is like 3 weeks in a row, and god damn it, unacceptable.
It was going. It's just coming back.
Good fucking god. Anyway, right. Wijnaldum falls into probably the bracket of the same as Son, essentially. Very underrated, terrifically talented player. Comes in, does it well, and I think Wijnaldum is he's so crucial to that Liverpool side in terms of what he offers. It goes unnoticed.
His finish.
That finish, the dink. Like, even as United fans, we got to hold our hands up and say that is finesse of the highest level.
And I will say, if Pogba scores that goal, we hear all about it.
But if Pogba scores that goal, it is going to be on every news station for days. Wijnaldum, low-key, does this thing, goes home, gets paid, job done. And that's what I like about him. I like players like that. Yeah,
and I think I read somewhere as well that he's the first Liverpool player outside of Mane, Salah and Firmino to score a goal for quite some time as well.
Is he really?
For maybe the last 5-6 games as well. So he's doing his thing. He's just because you don't hear that much about him doesn't always mean that he's not doing things, because the pundits are quick to highlight players who aren't doing their job, aren't performing. The fact that you hear nothing about him that often just means that he's going under the radar and he's doing his thing in the middle of the park. And sometimes you need those players like Park. Like I said, it was kind of like that for United. Darren Fletcher, was kind of similar as well. Carrick. He just someone doesn't do anything overly extravagant,
but does
all that often, but just does his job and does it well.
He's a great player. He's a very, very talented player. Wijnaldum doesn't get the credit he deserves. Speaking of players who are very, very talented, Andy Robertson. Since his debut in 2017, he's assisted more Premier League goals than any other defender. If he was Latin American, I tell you what, we would all be talking about that guy.
Yeah.
If he played for Argentina or Brazil, I'm telling you now, he would be absolutely playing for Madrid or Barca. But because he's Scottish...
he was such a snip price from Hull as well. I'm sure he's about £5-10 million.
We went over this in a previous podcast, and I can't remember for the life of me what he cost. But
he was so cheap.
Have a quick look, bro. What did he cost? Transfer fee. Am I thinking 16 million, or am I thinking too high? 8 million? Is that all it was? Fuck, that's one of the best bargains around, mine, isn't it? That's insane.
£8 million.
Bro, what a player.
Hats off.
Yeah, look, the guy is tremendous. Right now, he's the best fullback in my eyes in the league. In the league, I'd say so. Yeah, I'd say so. I don't think there's anybody else more informed than him. If you look at fullbacks on either the right and the left side, who are you going to say is more informed?
I mean, you point out Chilwell and Wan-Bissaka.
But I wouldn't say they're not on his level yet, though. If you put them in the tier below, I'd say in the level below. But I'm not going to go.
Marcus Alonso on his day.
Alonso's getting bummed everywhere lately. I'm not going to say him.
No, there's not too many I can...
I wouldn't put Kyle Walker in that bracket because Robertson's better.
Ashley Young, obviously, yeah.
You would put... Oh, I'm not even getting into that. You would... Fucking hell, you throw me off track with Ashley Young now. You fucking throw me off track.
Spurs' fullbacks at the moment.
Walker's... Walker Peters or Walker's Trippier. Trippier actually, in fact. But given Spurs' season so far, you would put if I was going to pick two, in fairness, right now I'd pick Trippier and Robertson. That's
you can't really argue too much. It is on the top two best fullbacks in the Premier League, isn't he, at the moment, Robertson? Business as usual for them.
Yep. Yeah, Liverpool did well. Just going over the other fixtures, we'll run through them all very quickly, and we'll just establish what we did and didn't learn from them. United beat Fulham 3-0, very good win for United. Palace drew 1-1 with West Ham. Arsenal beat Huddersfield 2-1. As we said, Liverpool won 3-0. Southampton lost at Cardiff. Lost against Cardiff at home 2-1. Watford beat Everton 1-0. Doesn't surprise anybody, in fairness. And Brighton, they lost 3-1 against Burnley.
Yeah.
Those were, I believe, the Saturday fixtures, actually. So I'll just pull up the Sunday ones now as well. Where are we here? Sunday fixtures. Because we had Wolves and Newcastle drew 1-1 on Monday night. That was correct?
They did, yeah.
And then on the Sunday, obviously, we had the Man City-Chelsea game and Spurs... Leicester. Going into Spurs very quickly, because Spurs are to a degree making it a 3-horse race. Leicester will count themselves very unlucky to not get any points. With Jamie Vardy, do you think he should have come on to take that penalty, or should have just left it with someone on the pitch? Because wasn't Maddison on the pitch at the time?
Yeah, but he's not the penalty taker.
He's got enough technique though to strike a ball, I think.
I mean, you could maybe make the argument that someone who's just come on the pitch maybe shouldn't be taking the penalty because they're maybe not that warm into the game and they haven't adjusted as of yet. But I mean, it's a difficult one. He is the penalty taker. So if at any time you get a penalty and the penalty taker is on that pitch, then why should it be anyone else?
Well, the thing is, they brought him on to take it, though, and that's what annoyed me a bit. Is a bit.
Did they, or was he just coming on anyway?
It may have been a bit of both, but it was very NFL-ish. We're going to bring the kicker on to take the kick, and it's just like Maddison's got more than enough technique to take that penalty.
Yeah,
more than enough technique. And Vardy, FYI, we spoke about Leicester fans last week, how they tweeted us, and we were interacting with them. Puel is going to go, bro. He's going because you can't keep. It's him and Vardy now. There's an issue. Because he will not play him.
With the penalty, just to say as well, if the thing is, with Vardy coming on, if they give it to Maddison and he misses, then the question starts getting asked then about why the penalty taker didn't take the penalty. But
then the argument, the flip side of that coin is, do you even bring Vardy on? Because if he's just brought Vardy on to take the penalty, then to me that's stupid. Yeah. I would trust in the ability of the players that are on that pitch, especially Maddison. That's my take on it. Everyone knows I'm a big fan of Maddison. I think he can strike a ball well from 12 yards. I don't see why he wouldn't handle the pressure.
Yeah, that's a fair point. The thing is with Leicester as well is they were very good in that game.
They should have got something out of that game.
They should have won the game.
They should have got something.
At what point do you blame Puel for players not taking chances like the chances they had? Harvey Barnes had.
Oh, Barnes, like that chance he missed, bro.
He had a couple. There were so many chances in that game that they could have taken, and that's not Puel's fault. I'm sorry.
That's facts.
They're professional footballers. They practice shooting. They practice kicking balls. Multiple times a week. When you get chances like that, they simply have to score them.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Very, very
There's
true.
nothing more you can say, and I don't think there's been a couple of games where Leicester have been. They've created decent chances. Against United they had a few. Against Liverpool they had a few. They got a draw. I think Puel does have a lot to answer for sometimes. I think more than anything, I think his decision making with subs and things is suspect, and he makes the wrong subs and the wrong decisions at wrong times. But that Leicester side is capable, and we see that in some of the chances that they create. And they should have won that game against Spurs. People say they should get something. I think they should have won the game. They have more than enough chances.
They did. Look,
way more than Spurs.
They created a lot of chances. What I will say is, we talk about Sarri's stubbornness.
Yeah.
Puel is falling into that bracket now with the whole Vardy situation because he's your main goal scorer. You can't just leave him on the bench over some personal beef. You can't do it. You're just going to have to man up and go, look, we don't particularly like each other, but I want you to carry out my instructions, and we need to try and at least make this work somehow.
There's potential in that Leicester side for something decent to happen.
Well, they're 12th now.
Yeah, I mean, but they could easily be 7th. If they'd have won that game against Spurs, they know again. Say if my auntie had balls, should be my uncle. So there's one way to put it. So
that's true.
If they did get that 3 points, where would they be? Because they could easily have got it.
Well, put it this way: they're on 32 points and they're in 12th, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are on 39 points and 7th.
So they'd have been 9th, would they? Leicester?
So they're 7 points off now, and to be honest, it's not insurmountable, but at the same time, given how topsy-turvy that sort of mini-league is in the middle of the table, I don't think Leicester will come back from that.
No, I mean, but had they beaten Spurs, which they could very well have done, they'd have sat 9th, and another win if things gone their way, they're back fighting for 7th or 8th, which, as we know, is the best of the rest. Now, we've had Leicester fans on Twitter say their piece, and I appreciate where they're coming from on certain things, but I do think that Leicester have a lot to be positive about as well at the same time, because there's a lot of young talent coming through there.
Very good players.
They get decent results against some of the big sides, and I just think that they play some decent football as well. at times they do play some good stuff. It showed in the Spurs game, it showed in the Liverpool game.
Yeah.
Yes, they play better on a counter attack. They set up that way, but sometimes it's that saying, the grass isn't always greener. Or is it better the devil you know than the devil you don't? If they get rid of Puel and bring someone else in, it could go south. Really could go south. Good. So it is a bit of a predicament for Leicester fans again. Put your opinion down below in the comment section. I know you've
let us know.
Your piece on Twitter as well, but I just generally don't think they have too much to mourn about, because like the game against Spurs, what can Puel do differently about that game? Because with before Vardy came on the pitch, yes, he did get the goal, but they created more than enough chances. You could argue maybe Vardy would have tucked some of them away, but you've got to put faith in other players as well.
Yeah, look, it's a squad game, but at the same time, I just think, if you're gonna have to, you got to play Vardy, bro.
He's the main guy, so whatever issue that he's got with Jamie Vardy, he needs to get it sorted. Just like you said about Sarri with his stubbornness and whole Jorginho situation. You got to put the club and the team first before your own ego and your own little personal battles. Sometimes, whether you like it or not, you just got to let it go. Just got to let it go.
No, true that. Cool. All right, Monday night fixture then. We'll have a little scan through that. Newcastle Wolves. Our resident Newcastle fan, Reese, who many people ask me about, because we always mention Reese, and Reese lives up north in a hut somewhere, drinking pints of gravy, reading psychology books. Reese is a Newcastle fan, and he was really upset by Wolves getting an equaliser. To the point where I thought he was going to start smacking his missus about, because he really was not happy with that result at all, was he? He was fucking raging.
And he didn't take it well, because I literally put straight in the group as soon as the equaliser went in. I said, he literally should be doing so much better. Dubravka, for as much praise as he gets as a goalkeeper, you can jump, you can use your hands.
Do you think he was too soft, Dubravka?
Oh yeah, 100%. Reece said, he's got his hands all over him. Me
That's
and Reece,
a little Newcastle bias for Reece.
Yeah, me and Reece, we have our difference in opinions on many things. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't.
I'd say it's on 99%
but I was having,
of most of them.
Yeah, I was having absolutely none of that. You're going to get challenged as a goalkeeper in the box. That's just the way that it is. You've got to command your area.
Graham Scott definitely didn't think it was a foul, the referee. Rafa Benitez was livid. Like, he was absolutely furious. We got to get this sorted.
I know.
You are fucking wrecking me right now. We apologise in advance. We have to put on some type of subtitles for you next time, just so people know what the fuck's going on.
Benitez will obviously be
frustrated
frustrated because it was the timing. I think if that same goal comes maybe the 75th or the 80th minute, I don't think there's that much of uproar about it. I just don't think there is. You might have a little whinge or ref, have a look at that again, but it's because it's coming, the 94th.
It's the hope that kills you. I say it every week, people, as a football fan or anybody involved, it is the hope that fucking kills you. And that's what absolutely killed Rafa Benitez. He thought, you know what, we got this in the bag. And that's going to ease the pressure. But
it's when someone takes something off you very last minute as well, like Wolves did there. So it is difficult to take, but I just think Newcastle fans, you've had a bit of upturn of luck and fortunes lately. You've just got to take that one on the chin.
Yeah, very true. All right, cool. We're going to Cardiff, Southampton as well. Yeah. Cardiff, fair play to them. I said they were going down. I was adamant they were going down.
It's like they've heard you. And me, and Reece, and everyone else.
They're really proving people wrong. And given what they've had to go through over the past few weeks, I'm not mad at them doing well. I'm actually quite happy
I'm actually just championing their cause to stay up now, because I'm not a Cardiff fan, as you know, and I live in Swansea, so there'll be many people who who wouldn't necessarily agree with this opinion, but I kind of just want them to stay up now. Everything that they've gone through to do as well as they're doing, that's back-to-back wins. Is that the first time they've done it this season? I'm sure that is.
It may well be. I'll have to double check it.
And I just think it's incredible what they're doing.
Yeah, they've won consecutive top-flight games for the first time since April 1962. It's a long time.
Big.
It's a big win. Saul Bamba is just a fucking... He's just like, he has an S on his chest and a K.
Just a Goliath.
He's just a beast, man, isn't he? The guy is just... And he's an icon in Cardiff right now. Like I said, given everything that's happened,
did you see him
a shining light.
Jump into the crowd and break that fan's glasses?
I'm surprised he didn't break the guy.
His neck, yeah.
Because the guy looked like he was very breakable. And Saul Bamba, with one sort of squeeze, would have absolutely crushed fuck out of him.
Guy's a unit.
He's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
But look, shout out to Cardiff, man. It's incredible what they're doing. Like I said, I can't be mad at it given the circumstances. I really can't. It's nice to see them putting a smile back on people's faces, even if it is only for a short while.
Yeah, and they're doing it their way as well, because they don't play a particularly exciting brand of football. As we know, we've said in the past, they can be quite one-dimensional, but they're doing their thing and it's working for them, So
yeah, look,
there isn't still a lot of emotion.
There isn't one particular method to success. There are other methods you can use which are perfectly viable. They may not be as attractive, but sometimes it is about getting the job done. So again, very difficult to knock it. You can't knock the hustle, as a young Jay-Z once said.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at see if there's any more stats on it as well, because they're usually pretty good for a stat, Cardiff.
Just going back to Ralph and the boys. I know you're a big Ralph fan. Southampton lost for the first time in 6 Premier League games. You still tipping them to be okay? Because Ralph was very adamant that if they keep playing like they do, I keep calling him Ralph, by the way, that they will go down.
I wonder why.
They won't go. They'll go. Well, they're in the relegation zone now again, and that sort of lift they had from a new manager is completely gone.
I don't know if it's completely gone as such, but
it's like the honeymoon period has worn off.
They are in. I didn't realise they are actually back in the relegation zone.
All that good fortune they've had and all that good work they've done is starting to come undone.
They're still in it, and I think there's worse teams above them. You got Brighton, who are in a bit of a downturn of form as well.
I predicted Brighton to go down, didn't I?
They're only 3 points clear.
Well, do you know what? Everyone has their sort of sticky patch throughout the season, so
yeah,
we'll see what happens. But it's heating up at both ends of the table, and it's going to be a really
I'm going to say that Southampton will be okay.
You're going to say Southampton will be okay. I would probably agree with you on that, actually. I don't think they'll go down.
They got too much quality and ability for me.
Cool. Well, speaking of quality and ability, and teams that sort of have it and don't fucking show it, let's talk about Everton again, because this is a weekly. We should have just a weekly Everton section about how they just cannot get it together. They just can't do it. Kurt Zouma pretty much chinned the referee after the game and got sent off. He almost flew into him, which is about the only thing Zouma tackled the whole game. They're just fucking terrible. And Silva's got a lot to do with it now. We have to acknowledge now that Silva is probably not the right guy for Everton, because we talk about Chelsea players down in tools. I don't think they want to play for him. I don't get that impression that they want to play for him.
It's just a case of stick or twist now, isn't it, with him?
I would say no, because sometimes you see shoots of progress, right? You'll see a manager and you'll go, you know what, those lads, they might not be in the best position in the league, but they really fucking trying, and at some point there's going to be an upturn. I can't see an upturn.
There's similarities with this Chelsea and Everton side. I asked there is, in the last episode about which one is most likely to get sacked first, and I still think it's a very close race between them two. Both of them could go before the end of the season at this rate.
Well, look, I would not be surprised to see Silva go before Sarri, only because, like I said, Sarri has a bit more to play for than Silva does.
At the moment.
Look, that Everton side, they have a lot of good players, and my main concern, if I was an Everton fan, would be, did some of those players stick around in the summer? Because otherwise, Everton is just kind of this cycle of getting rid of good players, like they always do, like a selling club. And what Everton really want is to try and keep a core group of players for 3, 4, 5 years, so they can actually build something. And a lot of those players will just go, is there any point being here? And that'll be my main concern. Players like Sigurdsson, Cenk Tosun can go. No one gives a fuck about him. You know how I feel about him.
Yeah,
Walcott's another one, in fairness. Walcott's stealing a living at Everton. He's absolutely stealing a living.
It's a case of where do they go from here now, because it's got to that point where...
China,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always the answer.
That's everybody's go-to answer.
The answer to anything, China.
Yeah, let's go to China.
That's where the money is. It just comes down to, if they get rid of Marco Silva now, who do they get? So where do they go? You've got to assess the options. So I know that's not, Marco Silva might not like them looking at it that way. Yeah. Is kind of saying, oh well, we could get rid of him, who do we replace him with? But who is out there? And who comes in at this stage of the season?
I reckon Everton could attract a decent manager.
They could, but
they're not. Everton are pretty.
Where are they now
club.
In the league? Where are they sitting?
Everton are 9th. So in fairness now, Everton are on 33 points. Yeah. They're 5 off Wolves in 7th.
But they have played, was it 2 or 1 game more than them as well?
They played 2 games more, they played 2 games more.
That's not including the Wolves game from Monday, is it?
It's probably not actually, no, I tell a lie, no, it's not, yeah.
So, I mean, I said this in the last episode, they're probably going to go on to finish maybe 10th, in around there. They're not going to win the league, they're not going to get relegated, they're not going to win anything. So I still think that he deserves another season, or at least he deserves to make it into his second season and have another transfer window.
I have my doubts. I think you can tell a lot from players and the way they play the game and with the desire they have, and I don't think they want to play for him.
Well, only he can change it.
Well, I don't think he will. That's my opinion, but time will reveal all, as they say.
I don't think he will, but in football is a very fickle sport, and especially in the Premier League at the moment, and many clubs are often way too quick to sack their manager, and sometimes when clubs do put faith in managers, sometimes it pays off, and I think maybe Everton have to see if that happens.
Yeah, well, you never know, I suppose, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Alright, cool. Arsenal, Huddersfield. Again, pretty straightforward, wasn't it? I didn't expect Huddersfield to get anything. Arsenal, even with a 2-1 win, I still remain so unconvinced by what I saw. I just the Mesut Ozil situation is really out of hand right now.
Yeah,
that's fucking mad that he's getting 350k a week.
They just don't need him,
and
he's pointless.
He's feet up on the sofa chilling while they're up in Huddersfield.
Look at Ramsey.
Ramsey,
week.
By the way, can we all just take a moment? Aaron Ramsey's agent. Oh, fucking hell, that's a move.
Well played, sir.
I'm ready agents get at least minimum like 10% a day.
Yeah.
So say Ramsey's earning 400k a week. I don't know, do my maths. That's 40k a week. 40k a week for handling his affairs, shall we say. So whether that's his marketing, his social media, his just his general schedule, I suppose. And that's just Ramsey, by the way. This is where agents really get their money. They'll get 40k a week, plus they'll probably get any part. Say Ramsey gets a signing on fee, they'll probably get like 10% of that as well. So let's say Ramsey gets a 4 million signing on fee, they'll get 10% of that too.
400 grand as well, yeah. It all adds up, doesn't it?
Bro, his agents did a fucking brilliant job there, because not only is he going to a team that is going to win Serie A titles consistently
and get to the later stages of the Champions League, which Arsenal don't.
He may well pick up a Champions League with that Juventus side. Could absolutely happen. He'll get to play with Ronaldo, even though it's in Ronaldo's sort of latter years, and generally have a great fucking life. He's not going to have to worry about Arsenal fan TV anymore, bro. He's not going to have to worry about the stresses.
Go to Turin.
The stresses of North London. They don't exist to him anymore. And
great move.
He was very gracious in moving, in fairness. He said, thank you for, supporting me and through the ups and downs. I've loved it here. And, he is Arsenal through and through, in fairness. He really is. As much as he's a Cardiff lad, he is Arsenal through and through. But that Juventus move,
he's absolutely going on to bigger and better things by a mile.
Bro, and they'll build a midfield around him as well.
Because he's good enough to build a midfield around him. But Arsenal, how many times have we got to say it? Why can't they see it? When you've got, right?
I don't know.
I would say Juventus, top 5 clubs in Europe.
Right now, you're looking at Juventus, Man City, I would say Barca and PSG as a potential.
You probably have to put Madrid in there because of what they've done in the last few years.
I would leave Madrid out purely on the basis that they're a little
season,
inconsistent. Maybe. Yeah,
but they
those 4 clubs: Juve, Barca, PSG, top 4.
You say PSG, mind we're splitting hairs, but they haven't made too many latter stages. But I know where you're coming from.
It could be different this season.
It's that sort of club, yeah. So you've got one of the best clubs in Europe that are in for one of your players, and not only are they willing to take him off your hands and probably play him every week, they want to pay him £400,000 a week.
That figure, I mean, is it accurate?
Yeah.
It comes from a lot of reliable sources.
It's his basic salary before tax and stuff like that. Obviously, as you know, a lot of football players have like endorsements, bonuses, if they get X amount, maybe goals, assists, what they win, etc. There's a lot more money involved than just their basic salary. But what the deal is that as it stands, excuse me, the flat rate of what he will earn for tax is the best of any British player in history. and it ranks right up there with some of the very best talent in the world as well.
And to get that and not have to go to China, bravo to his agent.
Oh, and he's what, 28?
28, yeah.
It just
in his prime.
What a move!
In his prime, no, Ramsey.
He's going to play with better players. He's going to fight for trophies.
He's playing with Granit Xhaka week in, week out. You then get Matuidi, Pjanic, Ramsey, Dybala,
Chiellini.
Imagine training with Chiellini, that tough motherfucker, and you've been used to Mustafi.
The whole situation is just perplexes me. He's going to a better country, better weather. He's probably
lovely villa in Turin somewhere.
Better women.
I think he's married. Not that I'm just. Look, I mean, look, if he starts hanging around with Benzi and Depay, he ain't be married for long. Let me tell you.
He's still going to be rocking around better talent.
Yeah.
I don't know off the pitch.
I don't know too many Italian Instagram girls, but I'm pretty sure they're fucking fire though.
I'm sure we'll find them.
The temptation is there. Shout out to Ramsey.
Yeah. Better players, better money, better country, just better situation all around, and another absolute fucking bollock drop by Arsenal.
Can you imagine the phone call his agent put in? So he's like, yeah, so we got a deal, and Ramsey's thinking, oh, I probably know 200k a week, and he's like, no, it's whispering down the phone. He's like, it's 4, and Ramsey just running around the house going, I can finally fucking go. Oh man, Ramsey must be loving it. And it's mad, right? You think him and Jack Wilshere, they were fighting for the same Arsenal midfield spot. And I love Jack. God bless his career, by the way. But Jack, he's in West Ham. He's in the West Ham reserve team. I can't say without laughing, right? Because it's funny. I feel for Jack because I do like him. But he's in the West Ham reserve team, right? And Ramsey's getting 400 grand a week contract. Life comes at you fast, people. Let me tell you. It fucking
comes at you fast. Can you imagine the agent making the phone call to the relevant people at Arsenal? Yeah. So.
That's fucking great.
You know that you wanted Ramsey out. We've negotiated the situation. Juve are going to take him and they're going to pay him 400 grand a week. Well, the Arsenal officials
400 grand a fuck. That's going to cause some issues for some of those Arsenal players now, though, because they're going to look at that and go,
"This is what I can get."
That's what. If he's getting that, I can get that. And is it worth me even staying here? There's a few Arsenal players who might get their heads turned.
Arsenal could only sign loan players in the last transfer window, and now Ramsey's saying, you know what, fuck this, I'm off 400k a week.
Bro, it's a hell of an upgrade.
Levels.
Oh, it's a significant upgrade, and the talk coming out of Arsenal was that that in the transfer window, the next transfer window, the summer transfer window, they will only have 45 million to spend. How are these people paying like $2,000 per season tickets?
Where did these numbers? Like, how is that? I don't understand how. I know the financial situation is bleak for Arsenal.
It's very
£45 million.
That I don't know what £45 million buys you anymore.
That's the equivalent of me getting my wage at the end of the month saying you've got 15 quid.
Yeah, I know. You're listening. It's like
what?
It's like living on benefits, isn't it? They are basically on job. They're like a football club that are on job seekers allowance. Like Arsenal, you can have a bit here and there, but we're not giving you a lot because you'll just piss it away on booze and drugs. But yeah, it's fucking.
Imagine me getting my wages, paying my bills, and somebody saying, "Yeah, well, there's £15 left for the month." You'd go, "What
are you supposed to do
with that? What am I supposed to do with that?"
What?
I get nothing with that.
Emery must be so vexed.
Can't live on that.
Emery must be vexed at that Arsenal situation.
I'm sure he must have been promised more.
Do you know what? I generally don't know what he was told when he was taking the job, but
I bet they were really fluffy with the way that they are.
Maybe the goalposts have moved. I don't know, but I mean, look,
I reckon they were quite fluffy about it. Said, "Oh, we'll back you. We'll give you, you want certain players,
neutral terms." That's what they used,
without specifics.
Yeah.
And now he's going to say, how much can I spend? Oh, yeah, we can have this player.
That's how they fucking get you, bro. Let me tell you, neutral terms, no specifics. And now he's sat there with some empty pockets.
Or you can have that player, but you've got to sell 3. It's similar along those lines, perhaps.
Yeah. I know. I kind of feel bad for Arsenal fans, but look, Ramsey, significant upgrade. Arsenal, decent win against Huddersfield. To be honest, there's not much to say about the game itself, really. Iwobi scored a decent goal. That's about it.
My goodness me. Spurs are 3-0 up at Dortmund.
Oh, hang on, Who we got? Vertonghen.
Full time, I said it's
Llorente as well. Shit, Llorente's.
That's a big result.
Wouldn't expect Llorente to score.
At 1, I was, I'd still back Dortmund. At 2, it's very tough. 3-0, that's a big
What does that say
cushion.
about the German league, though? That Dortmund the top.
I mean, obviously we haven't seen the game, so we can only give a certain amount of judgment on it without seeing the highlights. But what I take from that is you've got Dortmund, who have been so impressive this season, and they get in. It looks like they've been wiped the floor with by a Spurs.
They got pumped tonight. How did Madrid get off, by the way?
2-1 they won. Madrid did.
That's not a bad result, actually. It was against Ajax.
The report says, what a second half from Spurs. They were well off the pace in the first half, but 3 unanswered goals after the break means that fans can start to think about who they could get in the quarterfinals for the first time since 2011.
Wow, Pochettino working magic.
Were very much the better side in the opening 45, but they were listless, it says there, or useless after the interval. The Spurs ran riot late on. Vertonghen was the hero with one brilliant assist and their second goal, with Spurs' defensive effort keeping out that away goal just as vital. Still the away leg to come. Dortmund will have to pull something special out of the bag. So it sounds like
mad thing.
Game of 2 halves. Spurs were clinical, Dortmund were not.
Yeah, that's how it is. Alright, cool. PSA.
Indeed.
Go add us up. We'll be back after this interval. We'll have the best of the rest. Alright people, we're back. B&B Podcast episode 32. Hope you've added us all up on the relevant social media platforms. My IG and Twitter, Becky's IG and Twitter, the V&B one as well. And don't forget, the relevant SoundCloud page if you prefer an audio format. It's on there, and we're also on iTunes as well too. So make sure you're adding up all that up as well. Alright, cool. Yeah, so we'll round up the Premier League games, and we'll go over a few bits and pieces then with a couple of the European leagues. Nothing too much, as I say. The Champions League was the main thing for us tonight. So we've been over Watford, Everton. We'll skim into Brighton, Burnley. Burnley, I mean, look, they're doing well for themselves.
They are.
This indeed. Is a resurgent Burnley side, and Brighton now are starting to really feel the pinch. Because I don't know how deep Brighton's squad is. Because we said before, there's a lot of players in that Brighton team we hadn't really heard of.
Yeah.
And the Premier League season, even if you're not in the relevant League Cups or FA Cups, still very demanding season. And I think Brighton might just they might just be feeling that a little bit now. They're
being dragged into that now. That relegation fight, as we said when we spoke about the Southampton-Cardiff game. They're only 3 points clear, I believe, of safety. It was their home form that was saving them up to a certain point.
Home form is key.
And it seems to have just completely just left them now. Because they had Duffy and Dunk that were doing bits.
Duffy and Dunk sounds
like a comedy act, doesn't it? But
the lads.
To be fair to them, they were scoring goals. I know Duffy did bag on the weekend.
Yeah, he did score good goals.
But they were equally putting as just as much of a shift in defensively. Glenn Murray was scoring goals. That seems to have dried up. We rightly so give him a lot of praise earlier on in the season. I said that he was just as important to Burnley as you said about Hazard and Zaha and De Gea being important for their respective clubs. Obviously Glenn Murray's goals have dried up. Look what's happening. So
yeah, look, it's tough going.
I'm not saying it's tough all for the top, bro. But he was scoring goals, and when Duffy and Dunk were sort of chipping in with a couple, it all looked okay. Brighton looked quite rosy. They were hovering around mid-table.
Yeah,
it seemed like they were going to do just fine. But Murray's goals have dried up. Defensively, they don't look as tight. Maybe it's just just the build up of games, and they're going through a bad spell, as you say. And it's how they respond to that now, because Burnley quite the opposite. It looked for quite some time that they were going to be in real trouble. I don't know how many points they are. Just having a quick glance at it now. They're up to 15th. They're in the exact same spot as Brighton. If you hadn't watched,
Brighton are dropping like a stone.
Yeah,
they're really.
If you hadn't have watched this season up to now, you wouldn't think too much difference between them. But they're going like that, and I think Burnley are gonna go up. And they're playing like the Burnley of last season.
Yeah, they are. They're playing like the Burnley of old that we kind of grew to love. The goalkeeper situation for England, we went over Ben Foster last week. Tom Heaton again is absolutely in the running. Great cat, he spent a little bit of time at Manchester United. He's got a great pedigree as a goalkeeper. He's gone away to Burnley. He's now first choice. He again was superb on the weekend. He's been superb for large parts of the season for them as well. He's really kept them in some games. I mean, does he come into contention as England number one?
Yeah.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Even though he plays for Burnley, and it's unfashionable to pick someone from a club like that, you still think?
You got him, same with Ben Foster.
Pickford.
Pickford is number one, but he like I said before, he isn't nailing down that spot.
He hasn't done enough for me to justify.
Did you hear Troy Deeney's comments on Ben Foster?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah,
it
was something along the lines of he barely trains, he eats like shit, but when he shows up, he plays like Superman.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is essentially how we all play football or try and play. We don't do fuck all, and then we show up and try and fucking be the best we can be.
The guy eats shit, trains twice a week, turns up on a Saturday, and is fucking unbelievable. Is the quote.
That's such a great lifestyle.
Only a goalkeeper could do that.
Such a great lifestyle.
Yeah, only a goalkeeper.
That reminds me of Noah Pirlo in the World Cup, and they asked him, "What did you do?" And he's like, "I just played PlayStation."
PlayStation, yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he's like, "Well, do you really do anything else?" I played the PlayStation. I want that life. I'm just gonna
imagine he like a Ronaldo, Ben Foster, dedicated more time and effort and money into like.
He'd probably still be a Manchester United if I was
sleep, recovery, training, dieting, all of that. Whether you wonder where he could go, but he's got so much ability. You look, you said it's unfashionable for an England #1 goalkeeper to be playing for a side that's so low down in the league, but it's not like it used to be. There's not that many good English goalkeepers who are playing for top 6 sides.
It's very true, yeah.
So who do you pick? You can't obviously pick De Gea, you can't pick Lloris, you can't pick.
You could naturalise one of them. They probably got like.
There's something in them somewhere.
Yeah.
But. You look before the David Seaman. Obviously he played for Arsenal.
But you could say that about England's centre halves as well. England were blessed with goalkeepers and centre halves before. Now England, who centre half wise, they've got Stones and.
It's just the culture, the way it's all changed, isn't it? But I think you can't say we won't consider him because he plays for so and so club, because beggars can't be choosers. And
I suppose that's true actually, and that's fair show.
And at the moment, Ben Foster and Tom Heaton are making just as good of a case, if not a better case, than Jordan Pickford.
Well, look, Pickford, for me, I wouldn't put him in an England starting 11 right now.
No.
Even though Pickford has made, to this day, probably one of the greatest saves I've ever seen in that Colombia game, which, as I've said in previous podcasts, if you haven't seen it, and you happen to be living under a rock somewhere when England were playing Colombia, fuck me, that is some save.
Unbelievable save, but
like, it is agility of the highest level, but Pickford's concentration is his downfall.
But unbelievable save, one of the best we've seen. But even a broken clock is right twice a day. So correct. Coming out with all the sayings here, but they are quite appropriate for these situations. Jordan Pickford, he's got plenty of ability. He's made some very, very good saves, but he's way too unreliable. For me to even consider him as England #1, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You look at Ben Foster, Tom Heaton, two much more experienced goalkeepers, been around longer, and as we know, goalkeepers, they're like fine wine sometimes.
Yeah, that's true.
They get better with age. So I think if they were to both get into the England setup, play, get involved in a couple of friendlies, then I really think one of them two could nail down that position.
Yeah. Foster's interesting actually. Going back to the Troy Deeney thing, Foster has said that he's too old and he's in no shape to play for England, which would actually tie in well with what Troy Deeney has said about him.
Yeah.
So that only really leaves Tom Heaton. And I'm going to get your cough by you.
Passing it on though. Take it.
Jesus Christ almighty. And Tom Heaton and Pickford, it's a toss-up on any given day between who could get in there. I mean, one day you could say Pickford, the other day you could say Heaton. It's either or, I suppose. It's
got to that point where, because Jordan Pickford hasn't nailed down that position like many thought that he would, he's left the door ajar, left it open for someone like a Tom Heaton to potentially have a sniff at it.
Yeah.
And that's only Jordan Pickford's fault, So yes, he is young, yes, there's a lot of pressure, but, for as well as Tom Heaton's playing, he has to be considered, and I think Gareth Southgate needs to take a look at him, because you have to pick. They usually pick 3 goalkeepers, sometimes 4. So I can't.
3 is ample in this day and age.
I can't see him not being one of the ones picked, even if it's third choice. And if he gets a little bit of game time with his experience, I think that he could potentially make him, stake a big claim for that position as well. #1
cool. People, let us know what you think as well, because we want to hear off fans, who want to hear off Burnley fans, we want to hear off all fans in fairness, but especially when we bring up topics like that, we want the fans from the relevant clubs to get in touch with us. So I'll throw a tweet out and see what people think as well, and I'll get some opinions on that too. We'll move forward on to the Crystal Palace and West Ham game. Palace, you don't have anything to be concerned about, you reckon? I don't think they necessarily do. I don't think they're in that much trouble. They're on 27 points. So
they're in that mix with the rest of them, aren't they? So
yeah, so they're not far off the mix. But I mean, I just think they have too much quality. And I know there's that old saying they're too good to go down. And no team, so to speak, really is, bar, a few. But I don't know. I just don't think Palace are in any trouble. I don't feel worried about them. That's just my opinion.
No, they don't worry me because of it's like another Southampton situation. You look at the players 1 to 11. We've been over this before. Zaha, Townsend, Mayer, Milivojevic.
Mayer's such a great player.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, Van Aanholt. Like you say, that you look at their squad and they almost seem like, how could they possibly go down? But whether they like it or not, they are in that mix. You look at they're in 13th, Leicester in 12th, 5 points clear. So
there's a gap developing.
13th right down to 18th. There's only 3 points separating them. For looking at this, so it is anyone's. But I just think that I always mention about clubs having a talisman, clubs having that one player who can create something or nothing, and I think Palace have actually got 2 or 3 of those. Yeah,
they're quite lucky actually in that respect.
You've got Zaha, Townsend.
Milivojevic is another one, very underrated.
You've got like your Wan-Bissaka and Van Aanholt, like players with a lot of pace, a lot of trickery, a lot of skill, who can just make something out of nothing. And I think towards the later end of the season, when it comes down to crunch time, I think that'll be enough.
Speaking of Milivojevic, we spoke about underrated players, and Sky put out an excellent tweet. I think it might have been Sky Bet actually the other day, and they put out a tweet asking fans to send in their team outside the top 6. So you take the best. I saw that. You take the best players outside the top 6, make a team of them. Would they get into that? Could they beat? So for anybody who is actually watching this and has got this far into the podcast, tweet us your team. I'm interested to know what your team will be, as is Becky. So tweet us your team of players outside the top 6, your 11, that could compete with the top 6 side. So let us know. Send us a tweet and we'll take a look at it. We'll create our own as well, and we'll see what's what.
Yeah, because I remember reading the comment section. It was Sky Bet, you're right, that posted that. And I remember looking at the team and thinking, it's a decent side, that.
It's a very good side.
Then click the comments as you do on Twitter, because some of the best material on Twitter is in the
comment
section.
Twitter is fucking gold.
It's undefeated.
Twitter is undefeated.
But I clicked on the comments and you see some of the players suggested a Dinger and you think, oh my fucking god, yeah, he's been insane, or he's been incredible. Yeah. Like, I'll just put one out there. I'll leave you guys read the rest, and you submit your teams. But Fabianski wasn't.
Fabianski's
Schmeichel they picked, and I think Fabianski's been the best goalkeeper outside the top 6 this season. He's been superb. So he's just one of a few that you read the comments, you think, oh, there's actually so much more players that could make up that side outside the top 6. So I reckon there could be quite a few different versions of that. So
definitely tweet us, let us know, people. Let us know, and we'll do our own ones as well. We'll put them on our sort of relevant social media platforms, or we'll do the V&V one depending on what's available at the time, and we'll tweet them out, and you can let us know your opinion on ours, and we'll let us know our opinion on yours. So please do let us know, because it'd be really interesting, and it's a great topic as well, because we talk about underrated players all the time. So to get an actual Premier League 11 of underrated players outside the top 6, I think would be really interesting.
I like seeing stuff like that.
It's interesting.
You see, I like them. They sometimes do the free agent 11, and things like that, and it's a good way of looking at it. It provides it shines a light on some of the unsung heroes of players as well.
That it does. Yeah. The overall game itself, I mean, look, again, I've said it a million times, I don't bet because of games like this. It could essentially go either way. Zaha, I mean, look, he's instrumental for Palace right now. Whether he does another season at Palace, I can't see it. I really can't. I'd be gobsmacked if Zaha stays another season.
Yeah,
I can't see it happening at all.
Sort of. Where's it going? With him and Crystal Palace, the love story I think is coming to an end. He's been their best player by a distance for a couple of seasons now. So
he's nothing left to prove at Palace, I don't think. Anyway.
I think it's getting to that stage in him as well. That if he doesn't go now, he never will go. Because it's getting to that point where he needs to go, because he's kind of in his prime. Yeah, he's coming into those best years now.
This isn't the Wilf Zaha that joined Manchester United as a kid. This is a different Zaha, and I'd like to see him go to a bigger club just to really test himself.
Give him another big platform. It could be his last chance to do so.
And you know what, as well, I can't off the top of my head, because we've done transfer videos, and if you haven't seen them, go check them out. I can't necessarily pinpoint a club where he would be an exact fit. So what I would say to Zaha is, if you do get a chance to go abroad, Bayern Munich need a winger.
Yeah.
Don't be scared to go abroad, because he could do a job abroad. And Bayern Munich now are absolutely screaming out for wingers.
That's a great shout.
Good shout, isn't it? Let us know what you think, people. I mean, for me, Wilf Zaha, very good Premier League player. Go test yourself abroad.
Well, they were in for Hudson-Odoi.
I mean, you can have Hudson-Odoi on one wing, Zaha on the other wing.
Zaha is ahead of Hudson-Odoi.
In terms of development, he's miles ahead. Yeah, he's miles ahead.
That wouldn't be a terrible shout for them. I think that's quite a good shout, actually.
See, I do have them. I do come out with them every now and then. But the game itself, like I said, we're only going to touch upon it because there's not an awful lot to say, in fairness. We'll wrap up the Premier League with the last game. Some may call it saving the best for last. United Fulham. Again, it was very routine, bro. I mean, look, the whole Solskjaer thing, right?
Yeah.
Again, he's getting the best out of them, which I think is terrific. I know that team has their limitations, as I've already said. Again, we've gone over it in the PSG game, so I'm not going to go over it again. But look, job done against Fulham. That's all I'm going to say. Martial looked good, Pogba looked good, everyone looked good. Everything is hunky dory.
I'm always weary of the early kickoffs because they churn out some awful results for not just betting, but just the league in general. But it was very routine. I would agree with that. They did look strong. They conceded a chance really early. I think it was Vieto should have scored.
And that's the one thing about Solskjaer's tactics that I've stressed to you. Yes, I like the attack in football, but United have holes all over the pitch, and like I said, better teams will expose that.
The thing is that
what it is.
Mourinho was doing the opposite. He was trying to plug the gaps. He was trying to make sure that they weren't caught defensively, which meant that going forward we offered very little.
Yeah.
Solskjaer's almost a flip of that, and I'm okay with that. I'm happy.
I'm
with
not
that
against it.
because
I'm just pointing it out. This one.
They're doing better because I prefer it being flipped that way around, because I feel like we've got more to offer United. Attack in with the players that we have. Than trying to just shut up shop with the defenders that we have. I feel like and it's showing. We've won 10 from 11, and we completely take the PSG game out of the situation altogether.
Yeah, take the PSG game out, and the picture's a lot healthier.
Yeah, so Martial's goal, and first thing Reece said in the group, this is just typical Reece. Defender should have done better. I'm like, give the guy some credit.
Look,
they'll always say after maybe Odoi and. Is it Le Marchand? The guy's name is for Fulham. You could argue maybe he should have done it better, but just give the guy some credit first, because when he's running full tilt, Reece said, he's got to snap him. He did try.
Just couldn't get near him.
Yeah, he just went at so much pace. He just couldn't bring him down. So the defending is what's new for Fulham. The defending was suspect.
The suspect is being very nice and very
Martial could have gone down, and he didn't.
Jesus Christ.
And he had quick feet, and the finish was very, very good under pressure. So that goal was very, very good. And Pogba's goal as well, you could maybe say the keeper should have done better, but it was just, we've used the word routine a lot today. I think that was another routine win.
It was one of those weekends in the Premier League where
nothing
really happened that we didn't expect to happen. So
like the Leicester game, you were on the edge of your seat a little bit, sort of waiting for the final whistle. This one was just it was just an easy
like I said, it's not an awful lot to go over. In terms of stats, Fulham conceded 58 goals in 26 Premier League games this season. Only 3 other sides have shipped more at this stage of the competition. That was Barnsley in 97-98. They went through 62 goals. Swindon in 93-94, 60. And Blackburn in 2011-2012, which was 59. Look, I'm calling Fulham down now. That's what I'm saying.
Them and Huddersfield.
Down.
Yeah, I think it's game
Fulham
over.
Again, look, we said this previously, and I tweeted it out on the V&V page. Ryan Babel was not the signing to make.
No.
He was not the signing to make, and he's got a shit haircut as well, right? So that pisses me off even more than his play. Look, Fulham need defenders, and in the summer, if they do go down, they're going to struggle to come back up because they're going to lose the core of their squad. Sessegnon was already linked. Sessegnon was linked with United the other day. I think 50 million is a little steep for Sessegnon. Even though he's a very good player. Mitrovic will go. Schürrle won't come back.
Jean-Michael Sarri will go.
Sarri will go. Well, who else is in there? I doubt Barbel's not going to play Championship football. There'll be a lot of players that leave. It'll be an exodus, and it'll be a while before you see Fulham again.
Yeah.
So, sad, man, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Obviously, on the plus, if United, they've won 6 consecutive away games in all competitions for the first time since May 2009.
Progress.
They've lost a game, but that's away games. That could still continue. Even if they were to win 1-0 away to PSG, that stat will still carry on. So it's nice to see United getting on a bit of a run, and we're often seeing negative stats. United haven't won a Champions League knockout game since so when David Moyes was in charge.
David Moyes was showing Rio Ferdinand videos of Phil Jagielka saying this is how you should play, and the fact that clown is the only person to have won a knockout game, it fucking bewilders me, to be honest.
So it is quite nice to read stats like we're doing things that we haven't done since Fergie was in charge. The actual positive things. So that's a good stat. Winning 6 away games on the bounce in all comps. United boss Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has picked up 25 points in the Premier League since taking over, more than any other manager has managed in his first 9 games in charge of a single club in a competition. So the stats go on and on. There's a few with Paul Pogba. He reached double figures for goals for the first time ever.
Terrific to see that is for Pogba. It's really good.
36% of Paul Pogba's Premier League goals for United have come in his 9 games under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So the stats make for pleasing reading. They have done for a number of weeks now, and hopefully it'll continue because the Champions League situation all of a sudden looks a little bit bleak. We had some promise for it. How quick things can change, but it's important for United now after that result against PSG.
Just to bounce back.
Good win against Fulham, not so good against PSG is. The true test for Solskjaer now is how he gets them to respond from this.
Yeah.
So they were riding a wave. Obviously, that's there's a level of sort of sense of deflation now that will come from that. So it's how they come back from it that counts.
True that. Very true. Couldn't agree more. So, do you want to do a Euro roundup quick?
Yeah, we should have a little browse now. You mentioned the El Clasico.
El Clasico.
That was a bit underwhelming.
Alright, shout out to Ray Hudson, who was commentating as well, because Ray follows VMV, and Ray is the greatest commentator of all time, would you say?
100%. No questions asked.
He said something in it, right? I can't remember what it was. One was you had to be there moments, but I screamed laughing because the guy is fucking hilarious. I can't remember for the life of me, but shout out to Ray because he tweeted us and he follows us and we fucking love Ray Hudson.
I love that he follows us as well.
I know, he's a top boy, man. Shout out to Ray, man. El Clasico, I felt it was a bit of a letdown. Messi and Bale, when they came on, it kind of added a little bit of spice to it at the end. It wasn't all that. Vinicius, we've been saying his name wrong, Vinicius Jr.,
is it Vinicius?
Vinicius. It looks like Vinicius. It's Vinicius. The C is a little more silent than we anticipated. But he's a fucking tremendous football player, bro. The way he was trying to get at the Barca back line was superb. And Arthur Melo as well in midfield for Barca. Again, another Brazilian talent we talked about. And Arthur Melo is just absolutely ridiculously talented. You throw Frankie de Jong in there as well. Now next season, Barca are going to have a core of players that are going to be very, very good over the next few years. By the way, I just want your opinion on that because we may have touched upon it previously. De Jong, do you reckon he'll be a good signing for Barca?
Yes, yeah, I do think so. It's always difficult, with the Dutch league. I'm right saying he's in the Dutch league.
He's at Ajax.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah. It can go either way because there's been a lot of Premier League signings. The Premier League clubs have made signings from the Dutch league in the past, and not a lot of them come off. Obviously, you've got Memphis Depay.
Yeah, it's very true.
Came off the back of an absolutely unbelievable season with PSV. You couldn't do much better. It was all the hype, didn't live up to it. Then you got Wilfred Boney, came from Vitesse Arnhem, did very well in the first season with the Swans.
Boney, obviously, I know what you mean, coming from a Dutch league but being from Ivory Coast. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's
Kesman's another one, I think.
Yeah, Kesman. And I'm sure there's a few more as well. So it's always a difficult one because I don't think the transition from the Dutch league into other leagues more often that doesn't go that well. But you look at Frankie de Jong, and he looks a bit of a special talent.
He's a really good player, and Guardiola was desperate to get him in Man City. PSG were desperate to get him over there as well. And where he would play in that midfield is another question, because they're stacked everywhere.
He's going to get in a Barcelona side that are, they still got some unbelievable players. They're going to dominate games. They're top of the league. Unless it's Real Madrid or Atletico, it's pretty much going to be a walk in the park most weeks.
Yeah.
So he's going to have a lot of time on the ball, and I don't think he'll come under too much pressure. So it would be quite a smart move for him going to someone like Barcelona rather than someone like a United or a City or something like that.
Go into a Manchester City side that can't fill their stadium, and in my opinion may well decline once Guardiola leaves, or just go to Barca for the next 10 to 15 years. It's an easy choice in my opinion.
No, I agree.
I'd go to Barca, but he's a great player. I think he'll be the long-term replacement for Sergio Busquets, and I think him and Arthur Melo and there's another lad, I forget his name. Oh fuck, his name's on the tip of my tongue. He's another great player for Barcelona though. Jesus, I'll bring his name up in the next podcast.
Yeah.
But anyway, Euro roundup.
Yeah, to be honest, because of the Champions League, it takes up most of the headlines.
Yeah, it does.
So I'm just looking at Jadon Sancho scoring yet again. I think he had an assist as well.
He forgot his passport when coming to London, so that might be one of the... I don't know if he played against Spurs tonight, but it might be one of the reasons.
I think he did, yeah. Dortmund scored the 3-goal lead after Sancho. Oh no, that was the game in which, because they dropped points recently
in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, they were 3-0 up to I want to say it was Hoffenheim.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But they were 3-0 up at home,
and then they
drew 3-3.
Yeah.
And Bayern Munich won, so it was 9 points back down to 6, I think. So I guess there's quite a few games left to play, and I still think Dortmund will be okay based on how they've been this season, because they've still got another 2 wins. Sort of in 6 points clear. So I don't know what the goal difference is, but that's at least a win and a draw. So they might be okay. So they've hit a little bit of a snag, but an interesting headline was Mauro Icardi stripped of Inter Milan captaincy and refuses to travel to Rapid Vienna game after talks over his contract hit a snag as well. So if you've watched the transfer videos for sort of the January transfer window, I think I mentioned him for Chelsea.
You did.
Situation. Obviously they've got Higuain now, but I widely tipped Icardi to be the number one choice.
Arsenal could buy his right leg in the summer with that 45 million that they've got. And,
they could loan some part of him.
Yeah, they could loan part of him, definitely.
He's an incredible striker, Icardi. He is unbelievable, so clinical. His goal scoring record stacks up to pretty much anybody. He's in the contract with Inter Milan until 2021. The club's been negotiating a new deal with his wife.
By the way, his missus constantly gets involved in his affairs on Instagram and on Twitter.
She's his agent, pretty much.
His missus, let me bring this article up, right, because I'll give you a little background on Icardi, because he's a very good-looking motherfucker, right? And I'm pretty sure Icardi could have pretty much anybody, right, that he wants. Because if you have never seen Icardi, you just look at him and be like, this guy can model clothes for ASOS, he can play football, he could be on Baywatch, like he pretty much do whatever he wants, right? But Icardi's his current missus, was basically going out with his old teammate, Maxi Lopez.
Yeah.
So he basically fucked his teammate's wife. And whilst many people will be like, nah, it is what it is, I don't think he's the best at team building. Because I wouldn't leave him.
No,
if I had a missus, I wouldn't be leaving him around Icardi. A, because he's a good-looking motherfucker, and B, because he's rich, and C, because he doesn't give a fuck by the looks of things either.
Not at all. And
doesn't surprise me.
Speaking about not giving a fuck, he's literally said, because with this upcoming game against Rapid Vienna, Inter Milan coach, when asked, said he literally did not want to be there, and that's quote unquote. The actual team have decided as a group that is for the good of Inter that he's not involved in this round of fixtures in the Europa League. He was called up for Vienna, but he did not want to be there.
Where could he go in the summer?
Things around him have disturbed him, and the team he captained, now we have to focus all our attention on Thursday's game without him. The answer is he could go pretty much anywhere.
Madrid?
Absolutely. I think he'd be a terrific signing for Madrid. Benzema, I think his time has long passed.
Benzi, man.
I know Bale scored his 100th goal in the weekend as well,
which is Madrid,
which which is another mini headline. But there's still a cloud over his sort of reign at Madrid.
He's finished at Madrid.
Yeah, he's won three or four Champions League titles with them.
4 Champions Leagues.
But yeah, his injury problems mean that his career hasn't quite lived up to what we wanted it to be at Madrid. But 100 goals for Madrid nonetheless. It's not a bad return. But I think we did expect a little bit.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, history will show that whilst he was very successful, he maybe didn't live up to his potential.
Yeah.
But you could see Icardi go into Madrid. He wouldn't go to a Barca. He wouldn't go anywhere else in Italy. He wouldn't join anyone in England, I don't think. There's no room for him anywhere, so it's only Madrid.
He's not going to Arsenal.
China?
I'll tell you that much. It's too early. He's only 25.
Fuck, bro. I mean, morally, he's not the most sound guy.
No, that's true. But he's that good that he could get probably a wage not too far off what he could get in China at something like a Real Madrid.
I can only see him going to a Madrid, that's it. But, I mean, time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, because he's not going to go to PSG. Bayern Munich still got Robbo up top, so they're going to have a couple of years out of him. Yeah,
I don't think he'd want to play in Germany anyway. I get the idea that he's a Billy Big Balls. And I don't think his missus will let him go to Germany either. That's just
his missus or his agent, or both?
Yeah, well, his missus.
I can't believe his wife, Wanda Nara, her name is.
Yeah.
Is his agent.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
There's a big thing about Icardi, and again, character-wise, he does have his flaws. I didn't anticipate him coming up in the Euro Roundup so quick, so I don't really have the articles to hand. But there was a big thing again, right? If I just bring it up here really quickly.
He's an interesting case, isn't he, Icardi?
He got a tattoo of, I don't know if it's his stepkids or somebody's kids anyway. Yeah, basically he got a Mauro Icardi gets a tattoo of Maxi Lopez's children after marrying Wanda. It's the fucking ultimate disrespect, like, do you know what I mean?
The guy knows no limits.
And that doesn't surprise me. See, that disrespectful attitude that he showcased in front of his teammates, he carries that into what we would call the real world as well. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me, bro.
No, I agree with that. And just looking at the European section, that's pretty much it in terms of the headlines. There wasn't a great deal.
Because of the Champions League, it kind of took away from all that. Yeah,
but that's true. Play of the weekend.
Good question. Actually, I didn't give one last weekend.
I think, and when I say I think you might agree, but I'm gonna go with Aguero.
It's difficult not to go with Aguero.
But give me someone else. I've taken Aguero, just so it's not the same. Give me someone else. I
should have thought this through before we came out, really, shouldn't I? Let me think. So you said Aguero.
Yeah.
I could say Pogba, but it'd be too easy to say Pogba. So I am going to go with... I'm going to go with Tom Heaton this weekend. He had a very good game.
Not a bad shout.
He had a very good game, and he's been instrumental in Burnley's success. So, yeah, we're going to shine a light on him today. He deserves a little bit of praise. So, yeah, Tom Heaton for me.
Yeah, indeed. So, Sergio and Tom Heaton.
Cool.
Yeah, 2 very good shouts. 2
very good shouts. All right, people. So, we'll wrap it up. Again, you know the drill. If you keep following us, you keep watching us, you know what we do at this part of the show. Make sure you add us up on all the relevant social media platforms. Again, all the audio platforms, SoundCloud, iTunes, all of that. Feel free to subscribe and follow us if you want the audio content. Next week is FA Cup week. So we'll have a bit of R&R. You'll be taking some vitamin C. I'll be trying not to be hungover again. We'll be back the week after. I think we said there's 2 sets of fixtures, right? So we'll have one podcast and we'll try and do like a 10-minute roundup for the other fixtures because scheduling conflicts mean we won't be able to do the 2. But yeah, anything else you want to bring up?
No, good for me.
All right, people, we're out. Till next time. Take care. Ciao.